really defeating the purpose of that double cage at being used at all in this matchup itself.
โอเคกลับมาแล้วลื่นปื้น ขอโทษครับ
For the side of Omni's pits. Survivor side are looking very healthy.
ขอโทษจริงๆ
Trying to
ขอโทษจริ
negate
ง
this rescue coming in from the first officer here. Making us watch here, missing that swing, unfortunately. Getting that hit,
but the issue here is we didn't get a second activation on the Watcher, so this could be incidental pit stoppers.
Oh,
didn't
okay.
actually get the dash through from towards the other side.
ตอนนี้
Naughty here
ที่
with
เห็
the
น
rebound
คือ
calculation. Let's not forget 77%
แพทริเซียโดนเก้าอี้
cage here just yet. We're just waiting for the cooldown to be over, and now Soul trying to come in for the body block as we don't have as much stacks left on our hands to use here. But pit stoppers as well. One last cage
โอ้
on
โห
hand.
สวยจัด
One last hit right over the pallet, and that's just about enough to get this Enchantress eliminated.
wow, what a play coming in. Now we're visiting the first survivor being flown off to the mana here. Saber will be getting off the
แต่ตอนนี้เครื่องเตรียมแล้ว
understands
ตอนนี้ส่งเสมอ
that you've been decoding that
ส่งเสมอ
cipher bravely in front of me, and now I will be coming to find you. If he is able to down this Saber on one of the ciphers
แต่คนเล่น
here,
นักแข่งไอเดนอะ
Survivors
มอง
might be
จอใกล้มากอะ
Six cipher here.
อุ๊ยแต่
As
แต่
we
แบ็ก
see
ส
the
เต็ปตึ
magician
ง
wall being used here, so he's able to negate the damage for some time here, but is just preventing the inevitable
เฮ้ย
here as we
เด็
see
ดเลยอย่างงี้
Saber
รู้ด้วยนะ รู้ว่า
down
ไม่มี
here
บอโร
on this chair
ใช่ไหม
here.
รู้แหละ
But the Cypher machine near first officer here
เราไม่รู้
is
ระหว่าง
prime,
เก
so
ม
they're gonna try to find a way to pop that 94% Cypher machine. But let's
ไม่ใช่ใช้ไปแล้วก็จริง
not
แต่
forget here once again,
มัน
right?
สปิน
Two
ให้เห็นนะ
survivors without borrowed time. One teleport already on the hands of our pit stoppers to use, and a beautiful perfume there as well, just to negate the first cage. However, we still can't rescue that early because first officer's not that close towards
มันวิ่งไป
the
เครื่องอยู่
chair just yet. So that's a chip damager. Registered first as now PHR
แล้ว
going
เปลี่ยน
straight
คน
towards
เหร
the
อ
cipher machine. We're getting really greedy on this last cipher right now. First officer and magician needs to look for the heal, or else I think it just might not be off cipher machine currently at 97% here, but it doesn't matter. Soul just has to force the cipher machine go open currently at 96%. No hits there just yet. Still trying to play around here for a
แล้ว
little
ก็
while
จุด
longer. The hit there does register, but it doesn't matter as we
จริงๆน่าจะไปไล่
on time as well. And of course
magician
the
ต่อ
per pocket watch
แปลว่า
activation
แปลว่าอมนี้
should be
แปล
able
ว่าพิษ
to
ยัง
buy
ไม่
us
รู้
a
ไง
tiny bit more
อ่า
time. However, no one currently at the other gate, and Lucky Guy cannot activate that doll. We're only at a few percent decoding progress there as the jump down there will not register the hit on towards our first officer. He will finally go down, but let's see here. PHR currently near towards the middle as magician at the exit gate.
เป็นไปที่ OBS
Still not quite
ไม่รู้เลยเริ่มยังไง
yet. Blitz does have a teleport to work with. He's probably gonna
เฮ้ย
scan
เทไม่ได้
around to see if there's any deny.
รู้
There
หู
is
ขึ้น
popped up on the top left hand corner, so hits. He sensed it. He sensed
นี่
it.
Pallet stun.
Wow.
Oh.
But this, I'm not too sure how PHR is gonna kite this out. He doesn't have any item to work with other than the flywheel. The dungeon is very far into the line,
สิสวยเก็บ3
into the, but it's fine. He will
ตอน
be
นี้
seeing
มี
the
ใครดู
down here, seeing a 3 elimination in the first half of BO1 between Omni Hunter versus Saint PPR.
สวัสดีสวัสดีครับคุณเลยแคส
Honestly,
คุณ
not too
BBM
bad from the
จ้า
side of Omni here, being able to get a 3-man elimination up for a Goldman as well. But I would say Pure kind of won for a lot in this exchange, especially with the fact that it was meant to be a 4-man elimination.
มาดูฟอร์มฮันเตอร์ฝั่ง PPR ดีกว่าฝั่งออมนี้เรารู้แล้วว่าฟอร์มเขายังดีอยู่ไม่ได้แย่สวัสดีครับคุณเจนนี่โซโล่ที่เข้ามา
for that first officer rescue.
Yeah, if he was able to deny that rescue, that could have potentially sealed the deal there for him. But yeah, seems like there was quite a big opportunity lost there. Cyphers were able to pop as well from the first officer's usage of his mini Titanner. Great stuff coming in from PRR survivors, knowing exactly what to do and when to do it. Very risky set rescue, I must say, but other than that, not too bad, I must say. Not too bad.
Yeah, I would say especially with our first chase as well on towards Enchantress. We did try to blink predict there, which I don't think is the way to go, especially up against the Goldman with still cage available up to use. But let's have a look at the match stats. PHRs from the survivor side, it's 200% decoding progress, Lucky Guy, 0% on Enchantress as first chase, Saber with 152 and first officer with 148. Overall containment time for our Enchantress here was 81 seconds, as for the rest from top to bottom, 37 seconds, 38 and 59.
Yeah, and we also saw how this game really turned out. 3K for Omni's Pit Stopper is a great way to start things out for Team Omni. Now moving on to our second half of this matchup will be Omni Survivors versus PRR's Hunter. PRR's Hunter. Still the question remains, which exactly are we gonna see here? We have 3.
Exactly, but like with the points here as well, as you can just see, 3-1 here currently on the lead because of that
เดี๋ยวขออนุญาต
termination from the side of pit stoppers here too.
Stop
But yes,
แป๊บหนึ่ง
as
เดี๋ยว
Jojo has
ยังไม่
said,
ปิด
we do
ยั
have
งอยู่
3
ยัง
hunters
อยู่
from the side of
รอ
PRR.
แป๊บหนึ่ง
So question really remains with which hunter is meant to come out. I would say probably we're gonna get the meta hunters out first with Goldman and
ตอนนี้ก็
Opera
คุยกันไป
available
ก่อนนะ
to
ครับพอ
play.
ดีมี
And it's
บางอย่า
also
ง
the
อยาก
fact that they did choose this map too, so might as well use it to their advantage as it was chosen for the hunter too.
Yeah,
ใช่
and
ได้แล้วตอน
funny
นี้
story, they
ไล
have
ฟ์ได้
yet
แล้
to
ว
play a single goatman from all 3 of their hunters, but they've picked up Qist, Ivy,
Yes.
Opera Singer, and Peddler. So as of now, I think all 3 has potential to be BO1 hunters since they've all tried all this top tier hunters. But hopefully we don't see like we've seen them play X-Boy, Gamekeeper as well. So hopefully not in this
Yes,
early
a lot.
rounds into this matchup here, maybe in the later rounds. But for now, quite hopeful that we might be able to see Granny, Trap, or if not Verton coming in as their main hunter for the first lineup. But for the side of survivors, Omni, we were talking about them, Killer Boss being a stable survivor, so it should not be a problem. Problems transition
Yes.
from a coach role into survivor.
Yeah. And I do think here, when we do move on as well, especially with just you saying Ivy is available to be played on this map too, I would say if you want to guarantee trim elimination, Ivy is not the worst bet, especially if you have Blink ready with the map being so big as well. Rotationing towards one gate to the another is quite hard too. So it's kind of a question between whether or not we want the 3-man or 4-man. But yes, Granny does have that additional pillar on their hands to use as well, in which it is quite proficient. However, with current day meta, I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Might be right there. But also something that you really mentioned about both teams, right? Synergy-wise. Omni, synergy. We're not too sure about that. We know that PPM and Juan has been there ever since. Problems being coaching them is also present, but KB coming into the mix here, I definitely still have my doubts here, but these doubts will definitely be settled once we see this matchup, this second half of BO1. As we see our first player here, it seems like it's gonna be Juan.
Oh.
It's
There
Juan.
we go. From the side of Omni survivors, right? You see here the main rescuer, Juan, from the side of Omni, with an average deduction point of 8,204, containment time of 35 seconds, rescues of 2.25, average decoding of 142, average containment before first stand is 0, and he doesn't really seem to be the first chase at all, and of course escape rate of 100%.
Yeah, 100%. A rescuer, right? At least escape, at least get that one escape for the survivors. So hopefully we do see that here, at least if worst comes to worst, at least things are still tied up, especially in PRR's map selection. As we see our next player here, this is the one that we have most questions, curiosity about. KB coming to the mix here, Killer Boss representing Omni survivors. We don't have any stats on him, as we mentioned, but we do see a forward and the antiquarian, so a harasser role coming in.
But I'd say
ภาพอย่างนี้
from
มา
our
ฟุก
side as
ออกเข้าใหม่
well,
ได้ปะ
just because one of our previous members was
ออกลิสต์เข้าใหม่
harasser,
ให้
so
หน่
the
อย
feeling here might just be a bit tough as well. But anyways, moving on towards our next survivor, it's going to be Problems here, as we did talk about before too, was the original coach of Omni. However, he does have tournament experiences as well, and definitely speaking, potentially even more than KB himself. But as you can see here, Mechanic and Escapologist as their preferred survivor picks overall. We have seen Mechanic from Problems quite a lot, especially from the NAEU divisions too, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does bring it out, especially in a round 1 game where it's quite a big map.
Yep, and finally we have our member, a magic trick coming into the mix here, a flower, a red rose. As we see PPM stats here, we're seeing a 75.87 seconds of average containment time, so potentially a kiter, 3 cipher kites coming in from him, meteorologist and puppeteer as the preferred correctors. But I must say, PPM is one of the more stable survivors, I must say. We saw him in the NEU qualifiers, a 3 cipher kite, his meteorologist with clutch kiting and changing the game momentum just with a single corrector. So hopefully things do work out for him here. We are seeing a magic trick coming into the mix, and we might be waiting a little bit more time. We do see a lot of them needing questions and needing the attention of a single person just running them. As we move on to PRR's Trap, question has been answered.
แป๊บ
We
หนึ่ง
have
นะ
Trap
อาจจะมี
coming into the mix too.
อา
We've
จจะ
seen
ตอน
him
นี้
play
คือยังไม่มีการ
BO1
แข่ง
Ivy twice in
ขอ
South
ปรับอะไร
Korea
บางอย่าง
qualifiers.
But just because it is trap here as well, I do wonder if we have anything available to use as well, right? You see his average reduction of 12,000, first place average elimination or 50%, which is fourth. Knockdown is 9 overall, especially with a map control hunter, which is very understandable, and 3.5 average eliminations.
Okay.
But for trap here, the big issue will come with the fact that everyone will be bringing flywheel up against your IV, as you've only played IV as of now. So it's still once again a huge counter team that Omni can kind of delegate and collect here from their side. And there's only 4 bans as well for trap, so I don't think it's going to be enough for an IV.
ตอนนี้ตัวของ
as you know, we jog our memory back into South Korea qualifiers. His IV, I would say his chase is not the main thing that makes him like IV main kind of thing. It's more of him really taking advantage of missteps coming in from Survivor side and capitalizing on all of that to get that win. We've seen a 3K and 4K coming in from the IV in South Korea qualifiers, and he has pretty good map and cipher control against PQQ, which is their opponent during the finals matchup before they are qualified.
Yeah, but I would say as well with the map like this, if your first chase isn't really stable enough, the issue comes with the fact that since it is such a big map after all, Ivy does not have as much map control as you do need, right? So with this matchup here, if Omni can maintain that lead with 100-second containment time and getting the Cypher machine done promptly and rapidly, I would say it's a real hard time, especially for traps, if he can't get that one-man elimination done fast enough before the exit gates are activated.
โอเคครับตอนนี้ก็กลับมาแล้ว
Yeah, a lot of things that I guess both sides really have to consider as well. This is a rather big map for Ivy.
Yeah.
Rather big map for Ivy. Like, prepping for endgame is going to be potentially quite difficult as well for Trap here. And for Survivor side, Omni's. I'm still quite curious how Omni has decided to go with this. Whether we're going to be seeing, you know, problems really taking the front foot of this, because we've seen problems as a kiter as well. Very strong kiter previously when he was representing before you. Very stable one as well. We've seen him play the Priestess, Perfumer as well. So many things that actually Omni side can work on to go up against PRR's Hunter Trap.
ก็กำลัง
But
ดรา
I'm
ฟ
not
ตัว
sure
อยู่
whether when it comes down
ด
to
ราฟนาน
execution.
มากโบ
And this is their first time
that is
facing
true.
each other as
มาแล้ว
well. They don't know how strong Trap's
แทร็บ
IV is.
ทำการแบนตัวหมอกับต้นเรือนะฮะ
But we'll move on straight towards the ban pick phase.
สวัสดีครับ คุณ
Doctor
ดีมา
first
นะ
off their first 2 bans from the side of Trap. Very understandable if you want to play Ivy. However, the counterplay instantly will
ตอน
be
นี้
mechanic
Trap
from
ก็
the side of Problems. And of course, our main rescuer
ตอนนี้
being
ฝั่งตัวของ
Gravekeeper.
ยวนแล้วก็ PPM ได้ทำการหยิบตัวของ
Seer being let out of the
คน
kill cage
ฟอกสุสาน
here.
แล้วก็
Trap
ตัว
is
แมคานิ
letting
ก
that option open. Will Omni be
ก็จะเล่น
taking that step forward? As you see, a Lantern is being
มัน
banned
เหมือน
out
คอม
here.
นี่เลยคอม
Omni
WBG
survivors still have a lot of options. Rescuer has been settled. Decoder is also settled. Now we're waiting for a
แล้วก็ตัวแทร็บได้ทำการแบนไลท์นิส
They're
นะ
picking
ฮะ
up the Puppeteer.
Not bad overall. Can use Undaunting to counter that 100% fear stack like a mini flywheel, and of course as a rescuer too. Our final ban here needs to be some sort of healer once again, because you don't really want to deal with any of them, especially when Pup is still available to play. But it seems like instead we're going to get rid of the next invisibility character, which is that Magician. From the side of Omni, more surprisingly, try to lock in a power lead putting inside the mechanic, but now with the final last pick here being Archer, kind of want to become a bit more of an all-around play just in case Goatman comes out.
แต่สนุก
Yeah, so
แต่
it's
เขาอีก
overall
ฝ่ายก็หยิบ
a
ยวนก็หยิบ
potentially
ตัวของ
decoding
คนภาคอุตสาหมาแก้
harassment
สนุกเกอร์อยู่
rescuer.
ก็
They have
ลำบาก
everything in this lineup here. So maybe in the case of when problems on the mechanic, by the way, problems on the mechanic, if things do go south with problems on the mechanic, at least PPM as the archer is there to support him as well. Best case scenario for Omni, of course,
จะหยิบตัวอะไรนะ
PPD being the first chase with the
ก็คง
puppeteer, able to tank
ให้เดาก็น่าส
multiple
นุก
hits,
เกอร์หรอมั้ง
especially against if a Goatman is being picked up here. But if
ยวน
even this
ไม่
Ivy
สนุกเกอร์
should
ก็
be
น่าจะเป็น
a best case scenario for Omni as well.
แกะว่ะ
Yeah, and especially with the fact that
yeah.
if Ivy is played here, Mechanic gets so much leverage as well, where her own decoding progress, as we all do know, first chase for Ivy side is always going to be guaranteed 60 seconds no
ส
matter
วัสดีครับ
what
พี่
as
56
well,
น้อง
right?
ชอบไหม
So for Trap right now, the question here comes with, if we do choose
Chill, man.
Ivy, it has to be Mech first chase, even though Archer is probably the better one overall. But do you really want to deal with a cipher
คือเมื่อกี้มา
mechanic
แก้
throughout
นี่เว้ย
this game
คื
when
อ
the map is so big and
สี
with
เสร็จแล้ว
rotation
แต่
being
พอ
available
แก้
as
โม
well?
เดล
Or
อ่ะ
do
ยัง
you
ยัง
just
ไม่มีสี
want to
ก็เลยง
maybe
ง
go for the easier chase and see whether or not there is that
ก็เลยแก้นาน
potential
อะ
for a trim elimination endgame after the blink open detention hit?
Yeah, picking the weak one is
พัก
gonna
ระ
have
หว่าง
a bot, so it's a
ทำไมพัก
5v1
ระหว่าง
situation.
ไม่
Really,
ใช่
it's
พักระหว่าง
about picking
พัก
your
ระหว่างวง
poison
มัน
here
โห
for
ดจังวะ
trap.
มันนานมากเลย
As
เมื่อ
we
กี้
see the IV being picked once again for the third time.
เออ
This is
ว่า
gonna
แล้ว
be
ไม่ไอ
really
วี่
interesting to
น่า
see.
จะ
I'm
ไอ
also
วี่แต่เพราะแบบ
excited to see if there's gonna be any mind
โอกาสหยิบ
games
ไอ
when
วี่
it
ก็สู
comes
ง
to the spawn
แบนแต่ละ
locations.
ตัว
Problems coming in with the mechanic as well, because we need to remember that Omni has already secured a 3-point lead. What they need here is just a tie, and they win in their opponent's map selection. As we see a interesting spawn. Kuro, what do you feel about this?
I can understand from the side of Omni why we want to delegate it like this, but as you can see here, Gravekeeper, Northbridge, Archer, Southbridge, alongside with Protecting Mechanic in 2-story and first off for our Puppeteer. Meanwhile, Trap, our Ivy spawning just by second stop. Archer being so close for comfort there, there's not a lot of rotations that you can go to, and we're forcing her towards the back where it's really easy to get those Ostracon stacks.
Yeah, Ostracon stacks is definitely a headache for the survivors.
คู่อมนี้กับ
Stacking up all those things for Ivy make it easier for her to chase as well. As we see the coach coming
ตอน
into
นี้
the
ไม่รู้ว่า
center.
อมนี้จะยังไงนะเพราะแบบ
Oh, no coach at all. So
Omni
Omni is really winging this with their own
Oh,
knowledge.
their
here.
coach
No
was
coach.
problems. Their coach was problems, to be
Oh,
fair.
yes.
Their coach was problems. However, we'll move on straight towards the second half of Game 1 between Omni versus Pure. As you can see here, Gravekeeper, Tie Turner with Flywheel Audience Effect Archer,
อันนี้
Flywheel
เป็น
Niche,
ปกติ
Reflex
ของ
Mechanic,
Omni ละ
and
สกิ
Tie
ลเดียว
Turner
กัน
Audience
แต่
Effect
รู้สึก
Puppeteer
เปิด
with
ส่วน
Trap
น้อย
here
น้อย
bringing
มาก
instant
เลย
tension
เรา
alongside
แค่
with
เปิด
Hunt and
แมว
Blink with the professional
ที่เป็น
casters
ถ้าไม่
being
ไล่
brought
ก็
to
จะ
you
เดิน
by Chocho and Grosho.
ฮะตัวพับเพชรเทียเอาฮิวเร็วมา ทุกคนในทีมเอาฮิวเร็วมาหมดเลย แปลกจัง สวัสดีครับคุณชื่อไม่รู้นะ
Let's go. Trap heading straight towards, I
Oh.
believe, the mechanic. No,
เริ่ม
he's
มาก็
just gonna
ทำการ
tunnel it onto
เอา
PPM
อยู่เทียน
here, it
ออก
seems.
เสียง
All the way to the fourth stop, so he will be
ทรงก็
interrupting his teammate Cypher when this kite
ตอนนี้ก็
down,
ทำการไล่
downs him. But this is the
นัก
archer
ธนู
we're talking about here, so Kuro.
The leech comes true, and it's kind of what we said as well earlier on, right? PBM is going to be forced running a storyline. Revelation, nicely done there, but no hits over there towards the other side just yet. But does that matter? Well, we missed the archer's bow as well.
เกียรติขึ้นเมื่อกี้กะจะนี่ไงสตันแล้วให้เกียรติเต็มแต่เมื่อกี้สตันไม่โดนนะ
That's
เล่น
so
พลาด
fast,
PPM
even
เล่น
for
พ
an
ลาด
IV2, and that's the big issue when you spawn in that area.
Oh my gosh, and a scream that successfully registers a 40%
ตอนนี้
stack
ก็
as
เอา
well.
ยี
Now
เทียน
on
ไปโซนเครื่องนะ
48%,
แล้วก็
PPM
แล้วก็
is
เดิน
on
ไล่
his
ต่อ
wits end now,
ผม
stacking
ว่า
up all
แผ
the
น
way
ต่อ
to
ไปน่าจะเป็นแผน
52.
บิงแหละ
This is taking a turn for the worse at this point in time. As we see Juan decoding that cipher, will be spawned out with Ostracon here, interrupting that cipher once again now. Laceration 100% here will stand trap for a while, but PPM survives for another bit, but not too sure how long more.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mech wasn't able to actually utilize her own decoding booster themselves, but Blink here is ready, but nice counter from the side of Archer. A beautiful crossbow just to get it stunned there as well, but it doesn't really matter that much when you can bring back this Phantom once again for the Archer. Archer will get the lock there as Flywheel here is currently ready as well, but it just seems like once the teleport comes in, we need to be able to get this revelation, but the Flywheel to counter as we didn't manage to land it there too. Trap, that's not a really good sign for you, especially as an Ivy, as right now we're currently 100 seconds in, and that's a beautiful revelation as we got it down just on time.
Yeah, actually, it's honestly by the time-wise, it seems like a pretty long kite at this point in time. Seems like he.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Nice.
He's safe. Yes. Archer will be seen on the chair for the first time. Let's have another item to work with. So we should be seeing a rescue coming in from the Gravekeeper as well, already in shovel mode.
ตอนเนี้ย
So heading straight
เครื่อง
for
ก็
this
ไหล
rescue
อะ
cipher.
จ
We
ริ
have
งๆ
our
น่าจะเอา
first
ยี
cipher
เทียนสวน
popped
เครื่อง
by the
มาแต่เขา
mechanic.
จะได้
I believe it's the bot, and all those ciphers being worked on. Seems like pretty good progress coming in. Now Juan just waiting for the right time, coming in for this before half rescue. Hopefully everything goes well for him. No Ostracon in the
จ
vicinity
ริงๆมัน
as
แห่
well.
ออกมาจากหลุมได้นะ
We got leash there first, and of course
จ
the
ริงๆ
hit
มัน
come
แห่ออก
through
จาก
as
หลุม
well.
ได้
So
แห่
Archer
แล้ว
with
มันจะ
the
หลุดออกจากหลุ
rebound
มเลย
kite
ถ้า
is
ถ้า
probably
เนี่ย
not going to be possible,
How
as
do
the
you do?
most we can do is just for the
Ui,
teleport
sủi.
and instant
Đẹp
hit down.
đi.
So right now it's Trap's kind of momentum. We can lock Juan Cypher Machine alongside with Puppet on the other side of the map.
จริงๆต้องใช้แล้วนะ
Of course,
ใช้เพื่อ
Puppeteer with that
ดีเลย์
additional
ดี
Tide
เลย์
Turner here, and his life machine at 30-something%, it probably just isn't enough to get a
But you
format
got
ending
that,
here,
right?
right? We see his life currently at 40, and even though, yes, with mechanic style being outside, it's only at around 10% the consumption left, so not much can really be done nor said here, especially with everyone still rotating around the map, wasting time.
Yeah. As we see PPM on the chair for the second time, another head turner is on the puppeteer, which is nearby. We're seeing that on the bottom left, he is getting ready for this rescue when the time is right. As we see survivors
ตอนนี้ก็คนที่จะมาช่วยเป็นต้นเรือ
but Cypher once
เอ้ย
again
ไม่ใช่ต้นเรือผิดน่าจะเป็นตัว
And
ข
you
อง
can also see there too, right? Mechanic Star was actually brought there first up to decode with mechanics, so that's most likely going to be brought to the gauge for end game. Now Killer Boss here by himself. Let's see whether or not mind game can be played here, but no.
โอ้ยจริงๆว่าพี่เทียกดพลาดนะจริงๆมันควรกดหุ่นแล้วค่อยช่วย
To get the 50 stacks here just about on time. Teleport here comes through instantly, and there we go. Archer goes down as Killer Boss tries to go for the body block, but as you can see here, missing one full Cypher machine with an Oscar coming in. This is really bad, especially when you're downing towards the last Cypher machine as well. Teleport straight towards Killer Boss right now. As you can see, Blink is from right hand. No, Lil Lewis here being used. Killer Boss goes down first as a pickup on chair down is all what we need. But also at the same time, it's the fact that we shouldn't be cherrying near this chair trap because Archer could, potentially speaking, just struggle free.
You are right. Seems like there's a little bit of a lot of decisions from both sides just being a little bit different from what we expected, but we're seeing that seems like he's just gonna go for another chair. One will be coming in potentially for a free rescue, we hope here, as we see Trap still trying to chair PPM.
Okay, but that's fine, because let's not forget Killer Boss once again has another Lil Lewis here to use. Killer Boss teleports over instantly as well. 80-something stacks here straight towards Lil Lewis. But that's okay, because it is a Lil Lewis that we're talking about here. Sadly, no additional revelation will be stacked on as Killer Boss somehow was able to rebound here for a tiny bit longer than I expected. We tried to teleport over looking for the mechanic here as Mech was rotating towards that prime Cypher machine as well at 41%. We tried to kind of lock the 98% Cypher machine for the doll, but it's just two shovels on the hand of our Gravekeeper to use, but who really cares about that if you can just get the instant hit and another revelation leech from the side of this Ivy?
Yeah, Juan just kiting for his life here. Mechanic is decoding as well, but considering the damage that's shed across everybody with the survivors right now, it's just going to be really slow decoding. Mechanic's bot is also out of juice. Puppeteer is also decoding another Cypher, so question is who's going to pop this 98% Cypher when the time comes? And whether one problems, all of them, can they cut it out here? Trap is just trying to find the target, find the opportunity here. Luckily for Omni survivors, they're not giving that.
Yeah, but now for Killer Boss, we can't be running back straight towards the Cypher machine because right now what this means is 58 stacks here. Thankfully speaking, we were able to get out on time. But let's not forget at the same time here too, you're playing around two very dangerous spots here. 98 stacks here ready on hand to use. We just couldn't get the 100 stacks here unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter if you have two other slow decoders outside. As Trap now forcing Killer Boss out of the Cypher machine, obviously the only one currently at full health. He does have flywheel as well, let's not forget. But Juan on the other hand, one last shovel on their hands to use. As their Cypher machine is also at 50 as well.
โซนเครื่องนะครับ
not
คือ
too bad, but these
ตอนนี้
last
เซอร์
two
เล่นดีอย่างห
servers
นึ่ง
are
คือ
just
เซอร์
way
เปิด
too
เครื่อง
hard
ทุ
to
กเครื่อง
control.
เลย
Once
เพราะไอ
again
วี่จ
caught
ริงๆแล้ว
off
เป็นตัวละค
guard.
รที่โซน
So
เครื่อง
we
เก่ง
might
มาก
be
ใช่
able
ไหม
to get the blink hit down
มัน
here.
เลยต้องเปิดเครื่องทุกเครื่องเพื่อเป็น
Putting so much pressure onto
เพราะ
Omni
ว่า
survivors here. Problem will
มัน
be
ต้องเปิด
seeing
เครื่อง
that
ทุกเครื่อง
tension
เพื่อให้เปอร์เซ็นต์
one
มันเย
still
อะๆหน่อย
decoding as
เพราะว่า
well. All three
ตัว
ciphers
โซน
are
เครื่อง
at
ได้ทุก
one
เครื่อง
side of the map. As we see,
อุ้ย
will be stunned
จริง
here. Unfortunately, the hit
จ
will
ริง
register and there is
ๆ
a
GK อ่ะเล่นพลาดตัวเกมคี
that
เปอ
he
ร์
can
เล่น
work
พลาด
around here.
Oh, not only that as well, Killer Boss currently on the last
รู้ว่ายีเทียนมาแล้วไม่ควรอยู่ในเครื่อง
as well, but who really cares when your Yietian can go out
คือวิธีสังเกตง่ายว่า
straight
ยีเทียน
towards
มา
Killer
อย่าง
Boss
มันจะมีขึ้นว่ายีเทียนอยู่
Now
ไกล
here
แล้วก็
comes the
ออก
big
เลย
question in mind as well. Blink available ready on her hands to use. Didn't get the revelation there unfortunately, but it doesn't
สวย
matter. If you have
แท็บบิง
Blink,
สวยมาก
it's an instant down, and guess what? No one can decode
ต้องบอกว่าเซอร์
the
เล่น
Cypher
พลาด
machine
ด้
on
ว
the
ย
other hand, because if
เซอร์
Gravekeeper
หุ่น
decides
เครื่อ
to
ง
do
เกิน
so, he will die in exchange.
Yeah. We don't love these exchanges, but it's something that might have to happen here, unfortunately. One, still trying to push for that
แล้ว
cipher.
ก็แพ้
And we'll be stunned again.
เก็
We'll
บ
be
ไว
down
มาก
again.
แท็บคือ
Basement
เปิด
is still
แผลไวมาก
here. And Mechanic just running back and forth. All these two survivors trying to get those rescues off, but this time
แท็บ
around
คือเล่นดี
problems.
มากตอนเนี้ย PRR นี่ฮันเตอ
Okay,
ร์เล่
he
นจ
won't
ริ
be
ง
cut off here.
ๆ
Luckily, there won't be.
Win
There's no
YB
Ultracon over there, so luckily for him. But now, running back towards the basement. Problems is running like crazy.
I don't think Problems can make it though, which is the big question on hand here as well. We can just kind of prime ourselves towards the last life machine here without even going towards the chair, because it's down into basement once again, right? But it just seems like for Killer Boss right here, we're trying to play a little bit more chill. He can be eliminated here, let's not forget, but he does have his little Lewis available on hand to play. No drop down here there, thankfully speaking. But let's just see here, Killer Boss, are we on the life machine? We're not on the life machine yet, but we got the teleportation over, and we didn't get a little Lewis out. That's guaranteed to elimination here, and we blink ready in 80 seconds from the side of Trap. This is not good at all, as our Scythe machine there too, as you can see, at 99. But now the other question comes with the fact that Gravekeeper is also eliminated sooner or later too. We do have the teleportation over, but thankfully speaking, Mech can get the last Scythe machine primed. It's currently at 98% from the side of the doll. But it just seems like our main goal here is to get our Phantom towards the other side of the gate to guarantee at least somewhat of a 4-man in order for PRR to take advantage of game 1.
Hopefully that's the case. I am secretly hoping that the bot is the one with the 98% cipher. I am not too sure. But if that happens, maybe we could see an endgame here for Omni Survivors. As we see, seems like Mechanic is decoding.
It's fine for now, but Trap not bring that Phantom towards the other side of the map, even though her main body here is currently at the back gate. It's kind of not the best way to go, especially when you need a 4-man. We're now finally decided to bring over here, as let's not forget here as well, right? Blink is currently ready on hand to use, so no matter what happens, if they pop early, Blink open. If they don't pop early, it is what it is. But it just seems like right now, main goal should be focused on trying to bring that over towards that side of the map, as the Cypher machine has just been popped on time. Mech on the gate, but we need to control that Phantom as well, as it's on just barely this side of the map. But let's not forget one more thing, and it's the fact that 40% Scythe machine doesn't really matter as much. If you can get the leech, instant teleport over and then blink down, and there's no way Gravekeeper can make it towards the other gate, as right here you can see blink isn't even forced, and the doll is on that side of the gate as well. So we need to force the doll to go bye-bye, or else Gravekeeper's location is fully known. But even so, Ostracon on the other side of the map, all we need to do here is just to look for a teleport over, and Juan will not be able to make it through. However, we kind of lost our mind here a little bit from the side of Trap.
เนี่ยจริงๆอะเล่นพลาดจริงๆเก็บสีได้แถบอะแถบคนเอาเนี่ยเอายีเทียนอะมาไว้ฝั่งนี้ก่อนแล้วค่อยว้าไปฝั่งนั้น
Yes.
เล่นพลาด
For Omni Survivors, at least they fulfill the condition that they need
เล่น
here,
พลาด
which
เกิน
is
เล่นพลาด
at least tie things out.
เล่นพลาด
And this is
เก็บสี
the
ได้
opponent map selection. So in some way, Omni did gain something in this VO1 matchup.
Yeah.
แชทคุยกันได้นะค
Not
รับ
only that as well, it's now more or less just saying we had the potential for a 4-man elimination there from the side of Trap, but it just seems like we got a little bit too tunnel vision in our sense there as well. Teleportation on towards the Ostracon towards the other side of the map, as you do bring the Phantom back, is more than enough time to make it for that 4-man elimination, especially when Blink is still available too.
Yeah. And
ช่วงพักแข่ง
now that we are kind of like talking about
ให้พูด
this,
ตามเมื่อกี้
right, about the
แท็บเล่นพลาดตัวสุดท้ายเลย แท็บสามารถเก็บสีได้แต่ว่าแท็บอะรีบ
Archer has to look into IV to aim at the heart. Then they pick the Archer knowing that Trap only
แท็บอะ
played
ควรเอา
IV
ยีเทียน
in
อะ
the
มาไว้ฝั่ง
qualifiers is
ก่อนฝั่งนี้ก่อนค่อยเอา
very
ตัวเองว้าวไป
interesting. It was just a sudden thought that I had
แท็บ
during
เก็บ
the
สีได้
matchup.
แล้วจริงๆแต่ว่าไม่ทำ
Yeah,
ทำ
I
ไม่ได้
would say that it would have been better if they went for the Enchantress threat, especially when Enchantress counters both Goldman and Ivy, if you do want to be more careful of Goldman. But we can see here as well with the match stats here, it is
ตอนนี้กลายเป็นเสมอ
currently
เลย
Archer with
แทน
89
ที่จะเป็นช
seconds
นะ
time
โบ
alongside with the end game scenarios here of Gravekeeper 111, a Puppeteer 80 seconds, and
ต่อ
of
ไป
course
แท็บ
Mechanic
เป็นฮัน
61 here
เพราะว่า
overall.
ออม
With
นี้
Trap
เริ่ม
being
ก่อน
the
แล้ว
best deduction
ต่อไป
for
แท็บ
the
จะเล่น
both
ต่อ
of 15 survivor hits with 10 knockdowns in total.
Yeah, and I really love the Mechanic pick here. 277% of decoding. That's
แท็บเป็น
2
พลาด
and
แท็
a
บ
half
เป็นพลาด
ciphers,
บอกเลย
if not 3 ciphers already. So great stuff coming in from the Mechanic picked by Omni Survivors. But for now, at least it wasn't a 5-point lead towards PRR side. Things are looking balanced out 4-4 in our BO1 matchup. So coming BO2, we'll be seeing Omni picking up their map. Hopefully they do get their advantage here. But with this 4-4 that we're seeing in BO1, it means it's a guaranteed BO3 that we'll be seeing in matchup number 3.
Yeah, and it's especially from the side of PRR2. I would say especially with kind of the mid-game, end-game scenarios, when going after the Archer, Omni's main mistake was the area selection mode, which, you know, spawning by working carousel, especially when your only rotation point is towards 4-stop. For Ivy, that's kind of what we were looking for there in the first place as well, right? Understanding that you want to protect Mechanic, however, that was not the right way to do unless it's the first officer delegated towards working carousel.
Yeah, maybe in terms of spawn location
อันนี้ปล่อยให้คนดูไหมเพราะว่าออมนี้กับ PRR ไม่ค่อยมีอะไรให้พูด
location.
เดี๋ยวรอ GG
Yeah,
exit
a
แล้ว
lot
ค่อย
of
กลับ
things
มา
to consider here, and yeah, the fact that a lot of times the puppeteers, little Lewis, didn't come out when it's supposed to.
Yes.
A lot of
May
downs
Hunin
coming in
kasi
from the puppeteer. I felt like there was so many missed opportunities that
Yes.
Omni could have worked on. But then again, this is Trap we're talking about. I mentioned he's the type to capitalize on this missteps coming in from survivors, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes, and it's not only that as well, because our archer was hit so early on towards this game, it kind of had to rotate straight towards first stop, in which Killer Boss had to rotate all the way from first stop to third stop. We wasted a good minute just to rotate to get on a Cypher Machine as well. So honestly speaking, from the side of Omni, you could say Cypher Machine delegation-wise with the spawns was a bit unfortunate for them, but also at the same time, you could also say it's kind of bad taste as well having mechanic on. But still, we'll move on towards the highlight before we come back for round 2.
เดี๋ยวจะพี่จะเล่นดีจ้ะพี่จะเล่นดีมากสวย จริงๆแทร็บอะเกือบเก็บสีแล้วแหละเสียดาย
And we are back.
Yep, we are back. We are of course back after the BO1 matchup. Will we seeing a BO2 between these two teams? Still unsure. We'll be seeing the map selection in a while's time. But for now, a 4-4 between Omni versus PRR. Things are looking very closely knitted. We might, I believe this is gonna be the case all the way through. But we're not seeing like a hunter-dominated matchups or whatever. We're seeing like survivors really trying to pick themselves up and trying to get not fall eliminated. Because that's the worst case scenario. 5-0 giving to your opponent is a very hard point lead for them to come back on. So coming into this, we might be seeing a change in PRR's hunter as well. That's what they usually would do. Because PRR's side, Trap only have been playing one single hunter.
Yes.
Ivy. So they are kind of forced to change to hunter after this.
But you know, since you do have two substitutes overall from Hunter side, I do think they probably could get all their 3 Hunter rotations coming out of here as well. But aside from all that, right, after the first round being over, you know, it's Goma and Ivy here being chosen out for the first 2 games. Now you do move on towards round 2, where we do see Omni being able to choose the map as you've said before. Now with Muir Park being gone, you still do have the other big maps, which does suit Omni quite a lot, especially with pit stoppers having lots of practice on that pillar and QS2. I would say it might be closely reliant towards on Ever Sleeping Town, maybe for our second map choice.
Yeah, speaking about Ever Sleeping Town, it seems to be that a lot of divisions, they love the Ever Sleeping Town. They pick it, they always pick it. What does Ever Sleeping Town offer that's so attractive for so many divisions? Do you happen to know, Kuro?
No, I do think it's just more reliant on Hunter's side. I would say it's probably just because of the fact that the gates are so close for endgame, and it's the narrow corridors in which it does allow quite a lot of Hunters for quite a lot of leeways. Especially when you see as well, right, current dominant meta is more rotation, is more distance pulling based. It kind of does, it's kind of 50-50 for both survivors and a Hunter. But if Omni wants to take advantage of PRR, it's really up to pit stoppers.
Yeah, indeed, up to pit stoppers here. Yeah, the fact that now Omni no longer has a coach and coach is now being a survivor, I guess that still constitutes as a coach, right? Because he has the experience of coaching them already, knows exactly what to be picking as well. So, on the side of Omni, still alright. They had the correct mindset coming into this with picking up the mechanic to try to tie things out. But the Archer was definitely interesting.
Yes, more or less speaking, yeah. And of course, with the Archer here currently being gone, it does allow a bit more room for leeway, but still, we have seen Lanterns being quite a huge counter to Opera Singer too. But looking at the map selection here, PRR has banned out Red Church and Omni decides to lock in that Lakeside Village instead.
Lakeside Village with survivors coming up first.
ตัวฮันเตอร์ของแท็บไม่แปลกแท็บน่าจะ
Looks like
I think
Village is
it's-
quite a popular
เล็
map,
กไซส์
right?
น่าจะเล่น
Well, it's been quite
Yeah,
popular
Lendai,
recently,
yeah,
right?
Lendai,
Especially
Lendai,
with, I
Lendai.
do think it kind of started from Japan choosing Lakeside Village quite a lot, and then a lot of teams kind of just adopted to it more as well. But with Lakeside, yes, we have seen Opera Singer being able to get 4Ks, Hullabaloo as well last time being able to get 4Ks, alongside with Ivy being quite decent on this map as well. It gives room for, it gives comfort to survivors and to hunters as well, but I do think it's more survivor sided than it is more hunter.
Yeah, I hope so too, because for today, it seems like Lakeside Village is just completely like 5-0, 5-0, 5-0 from the Hunter
Yeah.
side. So yeah, I think Hunters are really having it in this matchup here. We saw initially WBG side, we saw the Opera Singer also getting a 4K. DFM side, Yummy, we also saw a 4K with the Hullabaloo. So yeah, a lot of opportunities for them
Funny,
to pick anything up here. Opera Singer, Hullabaloo, Boatman.
คือมันเสมอ
Things
อันเนี้ย
I think pretty
Tama
optimistic
ka ba
for
sa
pit stoppers. I believe they also picked this map for pit stoppers here, especially with this character pool that he's shown. The not, yeah, I think it should be a pretty good fight for him. But can I just ask you, what does Qis work well at Lakeside Village?
แต่ตาเนี้ยน่าจะ
He's okay enough. I think at max you can lock 2 ciphers, but aside from that, maybe what Pip Stoppers, if he does want to play out Qs, is probably just looking to throw those Q balls towards the middle and lock middle as much as possible. Because like, we can't forget it's the fact that you don't have first officer anymore from the side of PRR, but still it is the hunter coming out from PRR first instead of survivors. As you can see here once again, Omni survivors getting ready for that round 2, as we just got 3 man eliminated earlier on.
Yeah. I mean, with this momentum, I do hope that maybe they could do even better coming into the BO2, as we see a player swap as expected, Trap to Granny. For Granny, he played BO2 Qis before and BO2 X-Boy.
แต่เล่นน้องคนนี้
We see here as well with his stats overall, 50% format elimination rate with average terror shocks of 1. So third place here overall, average eliminations of 3 and average knockdown times of 60.31 seconds. If he can maintain this momentum up against Omni, his kind of stats will still go up, especially when playing QS2. 60 seconds down is really fast up against a character like that.
And also just for us who maybe did watch or forgot about South Korea qualifiers, his Q-Whiz was pretty sick. He did a double down with his Q-Whiz, with his Q-ball capture, and has insane placement, I would say, with his Q-balls. I think there were some games that he really did mess up a little bit towards the late game. He kind of miscalculated the gates opening, and then it resulted in a jump dungeon. As for his ex-boy, fireballs in South Korea qualifiers were 80 to 90% accurate. All right, it's definitely a comfort pick for him, I would say.
Yeah. And I would say especially from the NAU region as well, we have seen Axwhite there being played quite a lot recently too. So from Omni side, Axwhite could be a potential threat from their point of view as well. But since this is round 2, right, you can ban out that Qist. So I do think they might go for the full Axboy counter if indeed possible. But if that's the case, we might just go full tanky team comms, right? You still have Psycho, you still have Barmaid. These are all very viable options.
Yeah, there's also meteorologists for them to pick up as well. So many options, good options to go up against the next boy. In fact, they want to go for an entomologist. We saw an entomologist today. They want to go for an entomologist against the next boy. Even better. So I think right now, you might be right here. I think the QS ban might be the best optimal option for Omni, and just accepting the ex-boy pick from Granny.
Unless Granny decides to come out with a completely different character just to surprise us here a little bit, right? I mean, Trap did get full counter last game, however, he did manage to bring it back, still being able to tank those pressures as well. But still, the main question here is, can Omni, knowing the information of Granny here, be able to put him down and take, potentially speaking, advantage, maybe looking for a 3-man escape?
3-man escape. 3-man escape.
แต่คู่เนี้ยไม่มีอะไรพูดจริง
Since
ผมไม่ได้มีความรู้เกี่ยวกับคู่นี้
3
นะ
elimination in BO1. Let's see. Because this is technically Omni's map selection, they should have some strategy going on with this. Even if they want to pick maybe even more interesting. I keep saying the Priestess, but I have yet to see a Priestess as well. A Priestess pick at Big Boat could be
ออม
possible.
นี่อ่ะเคยดูแต่
But we just gotta wait and see what they have in their arsenal here. From Omni's side, it's been a long since we see problems, and first time for me is KD. So maybe they do have things that we don't really know about.
Yeah, and I would say the biggest treasure overall from the side of Omni really is just with the rotation points once again, as we do refer back to game one from their side as well, right? So spawn selection wise, I don't think anything can go wrong, especially with the Lakeside Village itself. You have multiple spawn locations that you can choose from and different formats as well. And of course, once again, you still do have that full advantage of, you know, at least 6 to 7 meta characters still available for you to play. So there's really not that much to ban out. So for game 2, it should be more survivor-sided than it is hunter-sided.
Yeah, so let's see what's it gonna be, of course. Now waiting for the players to all be ready. This is, of course, because it's a non-professional team, non-professional teams, they just need more time to gear it up. Now, as we see, I believe we will be starting the ban pick phase right now.
Okay, first 2 bans here being Doctor once again by Granny and Dash Enchantress. This looks like a Goldman pick here, to be honest. So whether or not Omni wants to ban out... Oh, we banned out Axe Boy!
They studied. They studied and they decide that, you know what, I will not ban out
Granny
the
ban
Qs,
เป็น
I
หมอ
will
ฟิ
ban
ลิ
out
สเตีย
the
นะ
X-Boy. So, I just want to say that his Q has got 2k and his X-Boy got 4k. So maybe just based on the stats itself, they think that the X-Boy is more of a threat.
Yeah, locking in Anti-Current and Lantern is here first too. First off, they're here currently being banned out, meaning Q is a high potential. Last pick here with Great Fear being gone could be Mercenary, or if they want to play it safely, Wildling is also a choice. But Merc overall is very dominant, especially on a map like this, and with 2 very strong survivors on his side too.
Yeah, still there is a lot of invisible survivors that we can still pick here. He's betting out the lucky guy here. Magician is still open. Magician is up for them for grabs. Aeroplanus is available. Meteorologist is also available. So it seems like they will just pick up the Magician here. So we have 2 out of 4 invisible correctors here and an anti-Korean for those stuns. So
จ
overall,
ริงๆปิดไล
what do
ฟ์
you
ก่อนก็
think
ได้
about this team comp?
แล้วก็ค่อย
It's not bad. It's a full Q is
ไป
kind
รอ
of comp
คู่
here. As we
GG
do know ourselves, right? It's the
ไม่ก็ปล่อยให้ดูไปก่อน
Magician
ก็ได้
with his
ไม่รู้จะพูด
wand
อะไร
alongside with Anti-Courier, this arms, and Lantern is just by vaulting over a window and realizing her living frame, not much QS can do. You basically outlive the inertia from the side of QS early game too. So I would say from the side of Omni, it's a very good survivor team comp. However, Granny, do we really want to run Cubist into this team comp? It's a high counter. And I don't think the rewards are as good as you think it is, especially with how far the exit gates are as well.
Yeah, and we could potentially also think about the spawn points already for Omni's side. Magician is probably gonna be at the big road area. Safest place for him as well. And as for the other 2, they have really strong fighters. Lantern is on Problem, by the way. So this is first time Problem's debuted Lantern is. I'm excited. And PPM on the Antiquarian. So PPM, yeah, we've seen. Oh, seems like it will be my first time seeing him on the Antiquarian for PPM.
It's, I would say from the survivor side as well, it's kind of the old school ones usually, except for maybe the Lanterns that is more or less on the rise, especially with those living frames early game as well to push the Mercenary Cypher Machine. Cypher Machine decoding progress should be, realistically speaking, quite decently fast. However, Granny locking in the Goldman here instead. I kind of half expect an excitement from his side if we do go after Antiquarian here first, but Goldman up against quite a counter comp as well. It will now have to test whether or not Omni has the capacity to contain with just knee-jerk reflex up against Granny's Goatman.
Yeah, Granny's Goatman. Also a debut pick for him since the South Korea qualifiers. First time for all of us here as we see Granny coming into the stage here with the Goatman. Looking into our spawn locations really soon. Let's see who will be spawning near at the big boat area. It seems like they will spawn like this.
Somehow we end up having, Anti-Current at small boat, Mercenary at middle, Magician at the big rock, and Lantern is at broken shack. Meanwhile, that Goldman spawning just right in between the 4 of them.
I wonder what the thought process is coming in from Omni with this pawn locations. Maybe they want to leave the love cipher at the big board area so it's harder for Goatman to harass. Maybe that could be the game plan here coming in from Omni. But let's just wait and see as we look into their personas, Trump card detention and blink on to the Goatman. And for Survivor side, we are seeing a flywheel on the Antiquarian and a 3-9 build on Problems. Magician does have a tight turner and all of them has the borrowed time. So they are geared up for a late game. Let's see what's it going to be here for game 2. First half at Lakeside Village between Omni Survivors versus NPR's Hunter, and this live commentary will be brought to you by Chocho and Crusher Gaming.
Let's see, Granny, we're going to go straight towards Killer Boss here first, as let's not forget, Mercenary does get full counter by the Goldman, and Killer Boss' performance last game wasn't the best as... Oh, it's not Merc, sorry, it's a Magician, excuse me for that. But Killer Boss Granny locked in towards one side of the map right now, no hit over, as we did get a teleportation on as well, but the hit barely reaches on towards this Magician, as first hit already registers, 30 seconds in.
30 seconds in and the first hit registers, which is a very fast one, forcing him to use his first magic wand. This will confuse the hunter a little bit, buying him a little bit more time with this kite as we see that the cage expires. So this is still alright. Resentment is still building up, so cage will be up in a while's time, as we will probably see another item be expanded from KB's side.
But the pallet there is still dropped down for the Magician, so we should have some type of leeway here to play around. But let's see here, Magician, the wand here can be used as well. We decided to use the wand here instantly, no hit on towards the Magician, as we did get the additional speed boost there, thankfully speaking, as now roaming around just these two areas. Once again, another cage will be consumed in exchange, as the chip damage does come through, however.
It does, and he still has another item to work with, another magic wand, so this hopefully helps him buys out another cage, and this will help in the decoding progress for the Survivor side, as we see KB, a back leap as well, missing out on and the blink failed as well. What exactly is Granny thinking with that blink on a Magician's wand? As we see KB survives for another cage there. Let's see if he survives for this one. Wait.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and we'll see the hit down here. 2.5 Cypher Squirrel. This is a pretty decent kite with 3 full Magician wand use.
Yeah, it's 150. Oh, sorry, a minute and 50 second containment time as Juan's already on the way in. Blink open there wasn't really the best choice here from the side of our Goatman, but still, once again, can force the Mercenary to early rescue here as well from our side. If we can just lock that pallet here, Granny currently looking for an opportunity here, as right now it hits straight towards the Mercenary now with no additional resentment to use. This rescue should be a-okay, as we're finally on the last 2 now. Killer Boss once again having still 2 pallets, still 2 pallets here left to use. Can we get the hit? We didn't, as he's able to get away here quite safely as well. No hit on towards this Magician, as Granny's Goldman isn't really up to par, unfortunately.
Yeah, really unfortunate situation, I must say, as we see that KB survives past the tight turn-up period, and this is buying so much time. He's accepting fate. He's just gonna go to the corner, but does this even matter to him? No. As you look that he's down here, he's at the corner, he's not going to affect any of his teammates' Cypher. PPM is ready for this rescue as well, but we need to remember that he doesn't have any Titan. Potentially coming potentially?
It's a bit early for harass. We did get the first one there, so we're going to get the second one. 2 chips in land on time, but that's a third one. We're nodding as well. Killbot should be treasured immediately, and then going straight for the anti-Korean here. Omni might actually lose their potential there as a wanted order on PPM. Let's not forget 2 items here currently on the hands to use as well. That's a nice flip over for PPM, but still, once again, so much items here currently being consumed and used. That's an instant, no instant hit over. That's okay, instant from this side. Still nothing there just yet. As we have another cage ready on the hands to use. Magician, no rebound kite potential here available on hands to use. Can we get a double down here on time? Oh, we didn't teleport over, but it's like for Killer Boss here. No hit over still once again. Still no hit over. Oh, we're actually playing very well here as now PPM trying to get as much body blocks here as we can. Cypher Machine at 88% body block will come through with the pallets done as well. However, our last Cypher is currently done on hand to use. Omni manages to make it to the 4-man endgame.
Yes, the 4-man endgame and the 3 escape you talked about, Kuro. It could be possible here as we see a down onto KB. Cypher pops and he is alive. with no magic wands, unfortunately. But then again, Hunter has only 30 plus resentment, so only one cage can be placed here. He needs to play this right. But with this area here,
oh my god. But the terror shock hit down is enough. As you can see, the other side of the map right now currently at 40-50% X gate decoding progress. If Granny doesn't teleport here, the gate will be opened on time. And that's a 3-man escape for Omni Survivor side.
yeah, what a game. 3 escape, Kuro, you called it. You gave the luck. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that was
okay,
mercenary.
okay.
That was mercenary.
Yes,
I
yes,
got
yes.
scared there.
3 escape survivors.
Okay.
Look at how happy Omni survivors are. They are definitely happy with this results for sure. This is insane results coming in as well. And we need to remember, this is KB. Hunter transitioned to play survivor, and he did a great, perfect kite, I must say. This is nothing else to put there. Great kite, fantastic. Tight turner as well. There's nothing more I can ask from KB. This is great representation of his gameplay here.
I would say, look, the anti-current coming to harass earlier on was a bit too risky. We could leave the harass for after the rescue as well, right? But still, thankfully speaking, not being able to get those additional hits on anti-current, meaning that we can't get the Cypher Machine done on time even after rescue. There was kind of the play to go, but still, Omni, we played it quite... we were on the thin needle right there. It was very close to that ending up as a 4-man elimination game, especially up against Goatman too.
My heart nearly dropped for Omni when I saw PPM coming in with the anti-Korean. So many things was happening. He got the hit, flywheel through, miss swing, and then afterwards Hunter wanted to chase him for an early rescue, and then he jumped over the window. So crazy stuff, but luckily for PPM, he was cool and calm and collected, right? At least it wasn't a failed rescue or even a denied rescue. Things did work out for Omni. As we look into the stats here, at 150 seconds of containment time onto Killer Boss Magician.
And not only that as well, as you can see here, only 13 survivor hits from the side of Granny, with 1 terror shock here overall and 5 knockdowns. A lot of our kind of decision making with the cages, as we see early game up against Killer Boss, were not really placed correctly, right? And it's also with the mid to end game scenario where we could have potentially waited for a bit more resentment to use for a potential double down, but still, once again, Killer Boss did manage to tank the pressure, and basically 110-second containment time early game was guaranteed for them for that 4-man win. Well, 3-man win in our case.
Yeah, it's just perfect display of kiting coming in from Killer Boss, and also from the side of Granny, right? We didn't really see the stacks of like the resentment stacks being over like 100 at all at any point in time. It felt like he was quite rushed with his cages. He didn't give it time for him to do like a double cage kind of situation as well. And also the blink was really unfortunate. Afterwards he changed to teleport, and that was not used much as well, only towards the end game. So a lot of missed opportunities coming in from PRR side's Granny. So questions back, you know, it begs us whether maybe he should have just went for the Q-Wiz, which was something he was potentially more comfortable in.
Yeah. And it's not only that as well, like, when playing Goatman, it's more about waiting for the stacks to be ready, because as long as you do have Blink ready, you can continuously speaking save stacks, save resentment for yourself, and have enough for the potential mid to end game with double hit potentials there too, right? So I feel like from the side of our Hunter for PRR, the QS is probably not QS, the Goatman was probably something we just barely practiced enough for this group stage. However, 1-man elimination probably was not something we expected to from his side.
เดี๋ยวลองจบไลฟ์ก็ได้นะ ไม่ไหววะ
Not expected here, and now pressure
คู่เยอะเกิน
on to PRR side, right? We need to remember this Omni's map selection. Their survivors just got a 3 escape. So for pit stoppers wise, he just needs to perform
แล้ว
as
รอ
per
คู่
usual.
GG Access เนี่ย
His usual is the 3K, 4K maniac that he is. So he just needs to do whatever he does best. But for survivors out of PRR, what can they even do here? Pit Stopper still has so many characters in his arsenal. He has the Ivy, Opera Singer. They're just gonna be able to ban one, and then he's just gonna play the other.
Yes, but we do know as well, Pure really likes that Gardener pick. So potentially speaking, we could even lock in the Gardener, ban out the Opera Slinger, and go up against the Ivy. Ivy for Gardener, especially when you can get those shields up ready, available to go, is something more or less speaking we can potentially speaking consider. But I guess also at the same time, when you do get stunned, you do move as well. So we're just gonna have to see how well we can utilize those bubbles in order for us to potentially speaking look for the tie. I do think tie game for them is priority, not a 3-man escape. That can be talked later on.
Yeah. Just settle with what they could have rather than go for more. Yeah, I think that is the best case scenario for PRR right now, a tie game. But even so, this is Pit Stoppers we're talking about. Yeah. A tie game against his Ivy, against his Opera Singer. Yeah, it's just gonna be a really tough game. His Opera Singer has really strong chasing ability. His Ivy knows exactly where to place the Oshakon and force weapons into corners that they can't escape from. So this is just something that we just have to gear up for. And for PRR, let's see if they have what it takes. But of course, we also do see the audience here. I believe that maybe if they're also waiting for the match to start, but if not, there is still one last matchup that everybody is potentially excited about, which is between Chi versus Coa Ix's Wave.
Exactly, but then again, you have to think about it now, right? I do believe for Pit Stoppers, it is still contemplating between the two meta characters that he has, or even potentially a Hollow Blue pick for a guarantee, tie game. But he does practice Peddler, he does practice Qist. If a tie is all what he's aiming for here, that should be the way. But I do believe from Pit Stopper's point of view, Formal Nation would give him the best option, especially with the fact that now he's on the accelerator mode right now. He's not on the backseat anymore, especially with Omni being able to get that 3-man escape here. I would say for PRR, they're the ones who have to play it safe because they've more to risk.
Yeah, they have more to risk. Imagine a situation where Pit Stoppers have a 5-point lead here, a 4K situation. That's going to be an 8-1 that PRR has to return in BO3. And we also need to remember that since this is Omni's map selection, the next round in BO3 is going to be PRR's map selection. So as much as possible, get as many points as possible for Pits.
Yeah. And we just don't want to get an advantage point back to them as well, right? So we're trying to take as much from PRR here as possible. But with their kind of picks here available to use, they do still have their meta picks on available, right? We did not see the Gravekeeper. Well, we did not. Did we see Gravekeeper last game? No, we did not see the Gravekeeper last game from their side, as it was the first officer being chosen. And of course, probably and most likely from the side of PRR survivors, if you don't want to deal with map control and can deal with heals and long games, Opera Singer should be the one that's permabanned, and locking in, up against Ivy should be a-okay, especially with how big the map is, and it's always a guaranteeing aiding stack escape.
Yeah, so we just gotta wait and see. Players are just getting ready. We're seeing that Piss also trying to confirm what is written on the paper, make sure everything is correct before he proceeds on with the BP here. Zerus, it seems like they are ready. But Kuro, actually, I do have a question regarding your bets. Other than the group stage predictions, right? Did you do the tournament results prediction?
I think I said Ever Sleeping 10 as the most map pick and Goldman as the most Hunter played for round 1. But I would say it's more 50-50 now from all teams on all different regions. It seems more kind of... you really never know. Because last year it was Ever Sleeping 10, right? Guarantees first pick at all times. So I kind of just locked it in that way myself. What about you,
What about Survivors? What about Survivors? Did you pick any?
I don't really remember, to be honest. It's been, what, last week? A week since we last finished? But sure,
okay.
I do think we move on towards BP here first, as once again, it's Omni versus PRR.
Omni versus PRR, and we have the Doctor and Lanternist being banned out here, and Enchantress is already in globally banned, so that's no longer in use. There's still a lot of meteorologists being picked. You mentioned the Gardener as well, and they have banned out the Opera Singer, which means they are okay with facing Pit Stoppers Ivy. Maybe because they do have an Ivy main in the team. They have been training for that.
Yeah, we kind of do want to be a really good overall rounded team, especially for PRR right now, and they actually need the tie more than anything. Fire Investigator early on locking here is not bad with anti-current to counter the Ivy and Qist too, but I would say up against Peddler a little bit harder. It just depends on whether or not Pit Stoppers has the capacity and proficiency on his character pool.
Yeah. we just gotta wait and see here. We're seeing the mechanic getting banned out here. So Piz doesn't even want you to look into a tie game potentially. He wants you guys to decode. And just like you predicted, Kuro, a Gardener being picked up here. So this means that they are just left with a stable rescue to be picked up here. We see a first officer getting banned out, a globally banned out, and Mercenary getting banned by Pit Stoppers, which leaves Gravekeeper being left for PRR.
If that's the case, if we allow Gravekeeper to come out, I feel like maybe from Pit Stoppers he's looking for that potential hullabaloo or even the Qist tier being chosen out as well. But still, Gravekeeper up against Qist, he can have a lot of pre-preparations done with Pala early drop downs to force the inertia to go onto cooldown as he gets out of shovel and back into cooldown we go for that reutilization as well. But still, the Survivor team comp is very fast with the decoding progress, so only having 5% decoding progress, a debuff, sorry, on that a Fire Investigator. It's not easy for Pit Stoppers. Our early down here definitely matters more than anything.
Yeah, it will definitely. Fire Investigator, they are geared up for the IV. I'm not sure, maybe Pit Stopper's gonna surprise us with something different, but what is expected would be the IV. Yeah, throwing that inflatable right behind him is just gonna be annoying if he's gonna be taking the IV here, but overall, yeah, I think. And any best first chase here, in your opinion?
Not really. I would say more depends on what hunter we decide to choose, right? I probably for if we do choose our IV, and most likely it's just going to be pretending to chase after someone as we delegate ourselves to Gardener after 50 seconds are over. But then you're just wasting 50 seconds early game as well, right? That's kind of the big issue with, you know, Quenching Effect, with going up against Gardener too. It's the fact that she always guarantees 50 seconds no matter what.
Yeah, an invisibility thing and invincibility thing, as we see Pitts also confirming what is expected of him, the IV. So during the qualifiers, his IV got a 4K, so let's see if he's able to replicate that kind of results in Game 2 second half between PRR survivors. As we look into the spawn locations now,
Let's have a look here. It seems like Gardener as small boat with Anti-Current Shack, Gravekeeper just by Big Rock, and Fire Investigator in two-story area. Our main goal here is to go after Gardener, most likely, as we do map control around the map as well, with Ivy spawning directly at middle near the triple pallets here, as potential locks can be that Fire Investigator or Gravekeeper Cypher.
yeah, so let's see what's going to be coming into this matchup here. Once again, Coach will be going up alone, and we'll be seeing the persona page here. Insolence, Detention, and Blink on Pit Stoppers. And for Survivor side, we're seeing the person nearest to him, Gravekeeper, we have 3-6. And Fire Investigator, the big boat, we have 12-6. For the Gardener, that is potentially the wanted one, we have 6-9. So Pit Stoppers, let's see if it's geared up for this game here. Survivors as well. Game 2 second half at Lakeside Village between PRR Survivors versus St. Omni's Hunter. This live commentary is brought to you by Chocho and Kuroshiro Gaming.
Ivy, Pit Stopper, let's see. First Phantom rotation is straight towards Gravekeeper as main body looking for that Fire Investigator currently upstairs. But if that's the case right now, Gardener Cypher Machine is the one currently locked, it seems, as our main chase going towards GK here, 21 stacks, does not look good for us at all. But I would say Shovel probably... Oh, we cancelled out the Shovel there. Oh, we didn't cancel out the Shovel. It doesn't get cancelled. But it is 63 stacks here, as we do see Sol not